Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode on the Blue SMP. My name is 134, and I hope you have a good time today. Well, in this episode, we have been wanting to make a pasture for our animals over there, and so we will do that. We'll also be clearing a bit more of the forest around our base so that we can perhaps figure out a way to get more wood and or make ourselves a bit of a more permanent shelter for ourselves. There's going to be a lot of things that we need to do to be able to do all of those, but I think it will start with us cutting down a few more of these trees. Before I do that, however, there's a couple of things I wanted to do. First one is to make myself a bundle, which I remember would be a leather and a string. That way? Yep. Because this would let me pick up a few of the items that are usually difficult for me to carry. Would the brush be? Can I pick up the brush? No, probably not, because that counts as a full stack. But at least I could pick up my crafting table and furnace, which are usually things that I have just one of, and I would like to save an inventory slot for that. I'll probably be using that for charcoal as well. And the other thing I would like to make is a book and quill so that I can start writing down the things that I want to do for this series. And to do that, I'll need to make some paper and a book, and should be book and ink sack and feather, which I forgot to put feather from our chicken box. So let's make that as well. There you go, book and quill. So that means we should be able to write stuff now. So let's write make a pasture, make bigger farms, and set area for trees, and make a starter house. So we should now be able to look at that whenever we want to. Alright, back to chopping trees. Now that I've cut down some more of the trees, I think I have a better idea of what I want for this area. This would probably be my farming and wood chopping area, for a little bit of an orchard perhaps. This will be the space for the house itself, maybe up until here, maybe part of this as well. This will be for the pasture, for my farm animals, cows and sheep and pigs. Probably have an entrance here somewhere, probably another over there. And this will be a path towards these areas over here, and also a path towards that, which I was chipping away at throughout these last few sessions. Now those are just stairs leading up to nowhere at the moment, but for now that's fine. Why is there a drowned here? That's true. Okay. That was surprising. Maybe it came from there. I have no clue. Anyway. Yeah, these just lead up to nowhere at the moment, but now I'm just thinking that I'm gonna be first building up the fence for this area next. Just so that we can let go, or set free, rather, these animals over here. Perhaps maybe find them some friends and family. Here we have our fenced off area for our pasture. Well, this is much larger than the capacity that we have right now, or rather the amount of animals we have right now. It's much larger than what we need, but with us enclosing this area and us giving only ourselves access with these fence gates, we can now introduce new animals to the area without needing to worry about losing any of them. So we should now be able to let these leads go of the fences so that they can start roaming freely around this area. This chicken pit here would still need some work. I am still considering whether to give them their own area or what, but for now they're there. I think I saw some sheep here earlier, so let's try to pick them up as well. Whilst I was wandering here earlier, I think I did see some sheep, but they might be gone by now. Although I would much rather see a cow if I'm to be quite honest. But we did find another pig, which is great, which means we can start breeding pigs as well. And let's breed these two. Hooray. Let's also breed our sheep as well. I have some more sheep as well, and throughout the coming days I will breed more and more of these sheep, pigs, and cows when I do find a cow, as well as these chickens. Now you might notice that I have kept this open. That is because, one, I don't expect my sheep, cows, and chickens and pigs to be able to swim across the water, but also I want this to be an alternative entrance to my base, so this might actually become a dock in the future, but for now I'm not thinking about that too much. So I brought some cows from that area over there and started to breed them along with the sheep and pigs. However, this chicken pit over there is starting to become quite a problem, so first thing we'll do perhaps is to dig this out so that all the animals can come out and I can start filling this pit back up. It is quite funny seeing them start to just jump out of the hole. Because that's what animals want to do. They want to spread out if they can. Well, that's interesting. I've only bred a few animals and this already feels like I'm already at half capacity or maybe even more. I do want my animals to have a bit of space to themselves as much as possible, so this would be quite the interesting problem on how many animals I could have in the farm. And so, we now have our animal area quite well populated. We now have some sheep, some cows, some pigs, some chickens there. I hope to dye the cows very soon. But now, I want to turn my attention to growing some trees for ourselves. I'm still debating on whether I should have like rows of trees or whether I should have like trees randomly here. I am leaning towards the latter, but or like a mix of both where I have a path around here that is lined with trees instead. So to do that, I think I may need to start by figuring out where exactly the path needs to be. So maybe something like that. Then it would fork around here. And then it would go to this direction as well. Then from there we could have this as like some lower hills. Maybe a water feature over here as well. That goes down into the water, perhaps. I don't quite know, but this seems like a relatively good use of the space. So from there, we will be having some grass over here, which I do hope to grow. I bet this will be quite difficult, but we will see. Don't have silk touch just yet, so this might be quite a challenge, but the idea here is that we will be having some of these be raised up these stairs, and some of them will just be on the ground over here. I do want to get a lot more dirt in the future, but I don't think I have that much at the moment unless I dig up the ground over there. So I'll continue this and then we'll be back in a bit. So here we have some dirt and some stairs laid out for some of the trees, right? Kind of have a two by two there, one by one here, and so on. Another two by two over there, another one by one over here, so on. However, I am now having to consider a few things. First of which is that I really don't have much dirt right now. I am now thinking of flattening out at least some of that area over there, perhaps for some bigger farms than just the garden over here. Another thing that I need to consider is that we still have some animals swimming off into the distance over here. There's even a cow that made it all the way to the other side, which is a concern, of course. Even though we did extend our walls a few blocks over there, we are still getting some escapees, which is something that should be fine, but I would rather not have too many animals escaping. Next is that I do want to take this back down. It is really bothering my lines of sight. Even though I did just use it a couple of minutes ago to fight off a baby zombie, it would probably be helpful for me and my planning to not have this be in the middle of this area. And lastly is that I am still wanting to find some of the remaining wood types in this game. We are still missing mangrove, jungle, and spruce, if I remember correctly. Jungle I'm not planning on having much of, if at all, so I'll probably just have it to grow my cocoa over here. If I can find my cocoa beans, I'll just probably use it to grow the cocoa. But for spruce especially, one of my favorite wood types, I would really like to go out and find some. While I'm waiting for nighttime to come, let's start planting some of these trees so that we are starting to get those growing, so that we are starting to be able to show where we want how we want our orchard to look like. So probably give me one over here, one over there. That might be another dark oak or maybe a pale oak. Let's try pale oak over there and another birch as well. Again, this will be basically my tree farm, so I do want some variety here. One of these will definitely become a spruce. Maybe one over there at the very end. Probably become my spruce tree. So nighttime, let's get some sleep and let's see what kind of trees we can still find. Alright, it is once again daytime and I'm thinking of heading in this direction over here, which I think would be west, I think. Okay. Yeah, it's west. Okay, let's see what we can find in this direction.